Should work now. Let's see. Okay, now it should work. Okay. So I should be able to hear myself think or thought or something. Oh shit. Let's start over. Okay. Wait a second. Okay. Let's see. I can hear shit, seriously. I like mute. A low level. Let me see. Ah, okay. Fuck, I forget this. Setting. Exit wing menu. Yes. I forget that I let some of my friends play the game, so yeah. Okay. Let's see maybe here. Okay. I don't know. I made some modification to my internet. It should be okay now, but don't tell me this son of a bitch changed my settings. No, my settings are okay. Load game. I forget where I was when I did play last time, so yeah. Hey, Happy New Year, I'm back. Trying to play. Without what? We're gonna use this as a screenshot. I always forget where the screenshot goes. Okay. Anyways, and I forgot the last mission that I had, so I'm gonna try get back that last mission. Just 2 seconds. How good? Oh. I'm gonna change some stuff on my setting real fast. Like this shit is crashing more often than running. Okay, from what I can see, it doesn't work pretty well, the double screen. I'll do some adjustments. So I'm back here. I forgot how to play it again because I didn't play for like 3-4 months. Didn't have the time for real. I'm really just testing stuff out. I'm about to buy some RAM and some other stuff. I feel like it feels a little bit sluggish. Oh wow, that did some shit. Wait. Yeah, some part of my setting has been changed. So, display. Vertical swing on. Target frame rate, yes. Oh, it's only for that graphics. Yeah. I don't know what happened. I think it's technically. Let's do the next mission anyways. I don't know that I finished a tower like last time I played. I know it's due to the streaming part that there's a pretty big lag. Okay, just gonna wait 2 seconds. Coming back. I'm just gonna come back. I just hate the lag. It's just really annoying. It's either good or bad. It's just really annoying. The song are pretty good though. I know it's gonna save, that's why. That's it. The real reason is just to save, that's it. Okay. Just gonna quit and come back in 2 seconds. Okay, I'm still here. I'm just gonna switch. Just gonna switch for now. Yeah. No. Okay, my god. NVIDIA panel. What the fuck was... Why did they change the name of the app? Yeah, I'm working on some stuff on my computer so that I can see what's happening. Like, I know I'm streaming, but not the best stream either, so yeah. It's kind of a new year, new dumpster fire type shit. Wow. Seriously? I know it used to be called GeForce Experience, but now I can't find shit. Now it's maybe an app. Game Bar, Geek, GOG. NVIDIA control panel, NVIDIA control panel, NVIDIA app. Ugh. You see, that part is really annoying. if you could see what I see, you'd be like, this shit sucks. So while waiting for this, I'll not share my screen with my let's see what the fuck can I share it with. Does it work though? Ooh, good to know. Rename. Yeah, I did receive I forgot the name of the stuff. A stream deck, not to be confused with a Steam Deck, letting me do stuff like this.
What did you say, nigga?
From one button instead of looking for it. So yeah, this is kind of cool. You know what? While waiting for my shit to work, let's watch some shit that works. So you're gonna see the people that I follow, that I watch, or some shit. Let's go with him. Wait. You'll not be able to hear him because I have some settings up. Yeah. Because I was testing my sound like 2 minutes ago, so.
Nah.
What's wrong?
I know dang well this nigga not reading a book right now.
Oh, nah.
Man, I'm not even reading for real. Look at you. You got the book out and everything. What your performative looking at?
Yeah, you got me, man. I was being performative.
I knew it.
It's shorty I'm talking to. She like reading books or whatever, so, you know, I'm just trying to practice pretending to read books, so, you know, she'll like me and shit, type shit.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
okay.
Come on,
okay. Hey, keep practicing with that pretending to read and shit.
I got you, fam. I'm gonna keep doing that. Yeah. Iridocyclitis.
Hey, Siri. What does iridocyclitis mean? Niggas, you learning? You trying to learn this shit?
No, I'm not learning. Sounds like you trying to search up the definitions of the words and stuff.
Nah, I had accidentally read one word in the book, and that word actually reminded me of two shorties I used to talk to, and I know one of them actually used that word a lot around me, and I just couldn't figure out which shorty it was, so I had to look up the definition of that word to make sure I had it correlated with the right shorty. So, you know, I just looked up the definition. Okay, I got you, man. You know, just making sure you're not switching up or nothing. Nah, never that, never. I'm gonna leave you to it. All right, I'm gonna catch you. Hey, it's a good chapter. I feel like it really symbolizes one's true story in life.
Through my ears to see.
I like the fact that he reads a book, but the book is like upside down.
Me, or is this nigga soaking in knowledge and shit, bruh?
Oh my God,
yes, nigga, I'm learning, all right? I'm soaking in knowledge, I'm reading, and I'm learning what I'm reading.
It's a shame to see the bro switch up before your eyes.
You know what?
Oh, I'm a support.
Yes, nigga, I'm learning, all right? I'm soaking in knowledge, I'm reading, and I'm learning what I'm reading.
It's a shame to see the bro switch up before your eyes.
You know what? Your behavior is preposterous.
The heck?
I'm trying to learn so I can better articulate. I don't know what that means. Myself in a meticulous. I don't know the definition of that one. Manner. Oh, and your eyes look a little red. I think you got iridocyclitis.
This shit is just But I won't lie. Some people be like that. Like, you try to improve and they're like, nah, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Oh, what? You try to be a better person? You try to evolve? Not be in the ghetto no more? Let me help you come back. Oh my god. Don't tell me my fucking stuff is. Exit. What? Also, never forget, Windows is trash. NIKKE. Media control panel. If it doesn't work, that means maybe there's a problem with my graphic card. That explains some shit. Yeah, it looks like it's working.
So, I'm doing the thing. A topic sure to heat many people up, even though it's quite obvious. I had to make it foolproof though, and as you can tell by the length, this is not supposed to be a well-paced video, rather a dictionary guide on how to navigate all these arguments. You will see me take sentences like this seriously. That's how deep we are going. Feel free to plagiarize the shit out of me. Shanks versus Mihawk should not be a question anymore. Many are going to say you need a 30-minute video to explain your stance when the real answer is right in front of you, but that is unironically flat earther logic. Depending on what flat earther you run into, it might take you 30 minutes to debunk them, when in reality you could just skip to this timestamp and understand the whole idea. Still, when I say Shanks fans, I do not mean every person who likes Shanks. I think most of the Shanks base are just casuals going off of what they see.
Yeah. I like how the live stream is bugging because of fuck me, I guess. Can I still try to
That's fine. Enjoy the story how you want to. When the day of reckoning comes, you will be turned easily because you are a reasonable person. No, I'm speaking to the non-reasonable people. The 10% of Shanks stans who will say, that'll never happen, even though it happened 1, 2, 3 times already. Fortunately, today's debate is really easy to organize, so close your eyes for a second and think of a tree. The sturdy trunk of this tree is the premise that Mihawk is the world's strongest swordsman. It's where everything stems back to because it is the only thing we know about his strength relation to Shanks. Said tree has 5 branches, aka the 5 main defenses Shanks has for being greater than him. Again, just because these arguments are numerous does not strengthen Red Hair's stance. You can be very wrong while spouting a bunch of bullshit. But before we climb, we have to do the dirty task of digging through the roots, the inverse ideas. In the past few months, there's been a growing thought that the burden of proof is on Mihawk to show why he's greater than Shanks. Not true. Contrary to popular belief, Shanks hasn't done anything to say Mihawk isn't better than him because he could just upscale. In fact, the main comment you will see on this video is, Shanks did this, and that. But by that same logic, Katakuri would be stronger than Dragon, because it doesn't matter what statements or narrative importance Dragon has, Katakuri is simply shown more at the time. In response to such, people will pull out Marineford arguments as anti-feats for Mihawk. Arguments I already covered in a different video, yet even so, I can take Shanks' showings out of context too. Didn't he get his arm cut off by a chapter 1 Luffy victim? Didn't a fully on guard 2-armed Shanks get a permanent scar from no Devil Fruit Blackbeard? Are all of these moments when they clearly don't go all out supposed to be legitimate feats of strength or just character building? I wonder which one. And in response, they will state, Shanks made up for those showings, but I can say the same for Mihawk. He's the greatest swordsman, upscaling from Shanks plus all of his anti-feats. Then as you can clearly see, we are back at the base of the tree. So let's climb up to the first branch of argument, the response I will get to all of what I just said.
If you ever wondered how it feels to be me,
Mihawk's title is false, whether it be hearsay or outdated. This agenda would work if Mihawk's claim was just in world, but it's not, because World's Strongest Swordsman is also a true fact coming from the omniscient narrator, the same narrator who tells us the thoughts of characters, future events, plus tons of vital information no one would know otherwise. It also means Whitebeard's title was a fact as well, due to it being presented in the same way, with his Marineford showings not counting, as it was directly stated he was not at his peak due to the loss of his medication, and it was shown in the fact he couldn't use Conqueror's Haki like he did against Shanks, among many other examples, not including Primebeard, who was never called the strongest man. Then comes the Kaido counter, but he doesn't work. The narrator said the world believes Kaido is the strongest instead of outright stating it like the other two. This aligns perfectly with all their narratives. Whitebeard was the king as Shanks, and everyone else said because he was the closest to the One Piece. He was the closest to the One Piece because he was the strongest. In fact, if you go with the idea of Whitebeard being crippled, then you're basically agreeing with Akainu saying Ace died for nothing, because Whitebeard's era was based on a lie being the antithesis of his character. Kaido's title didn't need to be valid beyond him believing it. Then even though he was called the best like Whitebeard, no one ever said he was the closest to the One Piece or that it's his era. Lastly, Mihawk's title needs to be true, as if he's not at least the most skilled swordsman, it defeats the purpose of his entire character and Zoro's whole goal. Now many say it doesn't matter, as Venus is going to be Zoro's actual last opponent. Even if true, probably not because he isn't that strong. You're still softly admitting Shanks has to be below Hawkeye's. Venus has an excuse. His power is known in secret, whereas if Red Hair was just out here blatantly better than Mihawk, which Zoro could tell through observation Haki, then it still defeats the purpose. Anyways, all of this I discussed in my titles video if you want more in-depth reasoning. So Mihawk is—
Damn. I don't know for you, but I hate it when niggas be doing video with promotion of the old video instead of explaining some shit there. Not because it's good, not because it's bad. It's just that I'm watching your video. I don't want to watch the other one. Anyways, all that to say that put some respect on my on my name. Name of my
cards or data books Oda says his fans should read if they want to know everything about the story. Mihawk's Fever card specifically saying he's the strongest in name and reality. Same for Newgate and Kaido. Most of Whitebeard's statements blatantly call him the best. Most of Kaido's statements repeat the rumor, putting his title in quotations or saying said to be. Yonko is a rank, by the way, so don't pull that buggy shit cause he is one. Another piece from Mihawk's Fever card says he looks forward to the future, to the day he will meet the swordmaster that surpasses his rival, Red Hair. This seems pretty cut and dry, but it leads to another defense. Why is Mihawk waiting for someone better than Shanks, not himself? First of all, that's not what the statement said. Second, it eliminates the idea whoever surpasses Shanks would just be on Mihawk's level. There's a small gap between them, so passing Red Hair does not mean passing Hawkeye's. However, even when we go with said logic, it don't make any sense. If Mihawk wants to lose, but Shanks is greater than him, why doesn't he just lose to Shanks? Here we get our first rat scale, where people say Mihawk is petty not wanting to lose to a one-armed sword user, which is as stupid as it sounds. When you reach that pinnacle of the world, it leaves no room in your personality for excuses. Zoro literally fought in a 2-on-1 without his third sword, then blamed himself for getting stabbed. That's how critical he views himself, yet even when we disregard that, it leads down two lanes. A, Shanks is a swordsman, but Mihawk refuses to fight him due to him being impaired, which doesn't matter because Mihawk is objectively the strongest swordsman. Or B, Shanks isn't a swordsman anymore because he's disabled, something I will cover in Branch 3. In summary, for Branch 1, Mihawk is the greatest swordsman in world and factually. It's stated by the omniscient narrator, backed by multiple other statements from the author. If he wasn't, then it would derail the goal of the second most important character in One Piece, as stated by Oda himself. Okay, sure, Shadex, Mihawk can be the best swordsman, but what does that actually mean? Well, I'm glad you asked, which leads us to Branch 2, skill versus strength. Just because you're the greatest doesn't mean you're the strongest, but that's wrong because Mihawk is stated to be the strongest. In Japanese, the term is Saikyo, which most consistently means the strongest. Oda used it over terms like Saiko, which is similar yet means the greatest. Now in English, it's said both ways. However, the early Viz translations of One Piece were extremely inconsistent, done by multiple different figures. While still prone to mistakes,
Some
in
people were bad
Dressrosa,
at
this
this.
stopped, with the official translator being Stephen Paul. He translated Mihawk's title as the strongest. In fact, when the digital colored volumes came out, Viz had a chance to fix their original translations. Oh look, they changed greatest to strongest. They even did this to the brand new statement. People like to use this to say, why didn't Oda call Mihawk stronger? However, these pictures have different meanings, because you can read the first one as Mihawk's skill only being highlighted, but the second can mean the same thing whilst also proclaiming him stronger than Shanks. Then of course the data books support the title all the time. Though, what does being the strongest swordsman actually mean? Well, it includes physical strength, as if Mihawk is fighting a fully equal person but they have higher AP, then he would lose to them. Some people like to blur lines to say, why doesn't Zoro use one sword then? Yet A, apply this to literally anyone who uses more than one blade, it's simply their preference to fight as such. Then B, 3 blades is actually blade. Is he stronger than Mihawk? Yet as I'll discuss in a minute, to be a swordsman, sword usage has to be primary. If primary is too subjective for you, we can get into the weeds of what it actually
Some
means,
people
but it leads to
taller
only two
than their
conclusions. A, Shanks is a swordsman and Haki is a part of swordsmanship as he only ever uses a blade.
Damn, okay, this video is long, shit. Okay. Interesting, but no. The thing, like, that's why I can see it is that Shanks is no longer a swordsman. That's why Mihawk stopped fighting with him. Not like, because you used to be that, that. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I stopped playing because my shit got fucked up. So, yeah. Also, I'm gonna find another way to do the stuff. Anyways.
Or B, Zoro isn't a swordsman because he kicked Luffy that one time. Also, before this guy starts talking, no, you don't need Haki to be a swordsman. However, you do need it to be the strongest one. Unless you just have some ultra physical Toji build, but that's never happened in One Piece and would contradict the logic most Shanks fans like to use. A very big defense is the Kengo argument. For those unaware, Kenshi, Kengo / Dai Kengo are Japanese terms meaning swordsman or great swordsman. They aren't strength rankings, nor is every swordsman in the series called such. Ask Odin. Now, according to the internet, Shanks is called Kenshi. I don't know where, probably in some non-canon source. Then we have characters like Dai Kengo Vista, a great swordsman above Kenshi. Mihawk is described as the world's greatest Dai Kengo a few times. You see where it's going. Basically, the idea Mihawk is only the best of the great swordsmen, not all of them. However, that's wrong, as he's also referred to as Sekai Saikyo no Kenshi, which would include Shanks. See how far we went into the Japanese interpretation only for it to be the same outcome? The last argument of this branch really has no relation to the others. The idea Mihawk only has the strongest swordsmanship. This is never stated, so you should never take it seriously. But I'll clap it here anyways. Now, what the fuck does it even mean? I guess it's referring to the greatest technique. It can't just be named attacks, because swordsmanship is not just the moves you call out, it's how you move, defend, attack normally. It would include strength, as Kid Zoro uses the same style as Skypiea Zoro, but isn't strong enough to make an air slash. Plus Haki, due to the Conqueror's coding example from before. Yet it doesn't necessarily mean the strongest swordsmanship requires the greatest strength / Haki, if you understand how dumb that sounds. It still doesn't work though. In Databook Red, where Mihawk's title is reiterated as fact multiple times, it goes on to state, even taking just his swordsmanship into account, he is truly in the world's strongest class. Meaning, Mihawk is the strongest swordsman. But if you take that away, his swordsmanship is still of the highest level. Again, we have two conclusions. A, maybe there is a difference between strongest swordsman versus strongest swordsmanship, but B, it doesn't fucking matter because Mihawk has both. Back to square one. I know some reasonable Shanks fans are going to be turned off by me using data books and such. Yet realize, if you take the strength versus skill argument seriously, then...
sometime. Okay, I'm sorry, this shit is kind of long, so...
You legitimately believe when Oda wrote Shanks and Mihawk having legendary duels, he meant for Shanks to turn his haki off like in that agenda piece meme. You think that's what the author wants. So yeah, in summary for Branch 2, Mihawk is the strongest swordsman, not just the most skilled. This means his physical attack power / haki have to be greater than every other swordsman, including Shanks. But Shad X, that's only if Shanks is a swordsman. Well, you're right.
Why the rock look Chinese? Oh, damn it. I'm having
On time. Let's move on to Branch 3. Shanks isn't a swordsman. Yes, he only ever uses a blade, and nobody would question it if Mihawk didn't exist, but that don't mean shit. So what is a swordsman? To put it simply, a swordsman, in One Piece, is literally anyone who primarily uses a sword, unless Oda deems otherwise. You can be a fruit user and still be a swordsman. Use circus techniques / poison and still be a swordsman. You can use your legs, fire, conqueror's haki. There are sword techniques that don't even require swords. You don't have to try and be the greatest swordsman or dedicate your life to the blade if I had a fucking dollar. Don't think about it too hard, it doesn't matter. It would be quicker to name those explicitly stated not to be swordsmen. There's only two. This isn't about if Shanks is a swordsman because you can twist and bend all the different categories to say Zoro isn't a swordsman. No, rather, will Oda discern him a sword user when the time comes? What reason would he have for doing so? And as you can imagine, I can't definitively prove anything here. I can show you all the empirical evidence, but again, some people will think the Earth is flat until they go to space. Let's start with the facts. Shanks is only seen using a blade in every combat situation he's in. That's all we know. Everything else in this branch is speculation, but I'll chew into it anyways. Shanks has other fighting styles. He's a pirate. Said line of thinking is ironic. He only has one arm, to which he uses his sword with every time. Punching is off the table. Of course, we insert the kickboxing memes, yet even if you took those seriously, again, Kaku. Obviously, the most legitimate argument for Shanks fighting like a pirate is that he'll use a gun. Now, he never once holds a firearm throughout the entirety of the story. In truth, when Kid threatened his fleet from outside of Elbaf, instead of sniping him, Shanks jumps cross-map to hit him with his sword. The gun idea comes from non-canon video games, though fun fact, in Pirate Warriors 4, Shanks does use a gun. However, when the Film Red DLC gave him a new moveset, he only uses a blade. Now, Red Hair's style is based on Roger's. Roger is shown holding a gun way back in 2009, aka before Oda even knew what haki was. We already saw him fight Extreme Diff at God Valley, and he only uses a blade. This panel is like calling Marco a swordsman since Oda drew him with a sword that one time. The next biggest excuse used to be Red Hair doesn't cut / isn't a real swordsman. As you may know, it has been debunked. Rox's swordsmanship is stated to not cut. It doesn't matter if you think Rox himself is a swordsman, because if a swordsman were to practice his swordsmanship, they would still count. Regardless, Roger is shown cutting people, by the way. Now, some interject to say Rox's style isn't...
Okay, I'm stopping here. Good video. I'm gonna finish it another time, just that. We'll watch later. Let's go to the next video. Yeah, I'm watching the video because I don't...
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the dumbest cheated speedrun in Final Fantasy VII history. This video is by Abisoft, and I'm shamelessly reacting to it. I also don't know about this side of...
And I'm shamelessly reacting to the reaction. Not because I want to, it's just that I want to play Stellar Blade, but the frame rate is so low, and I don't know what's happening, so for this shit to not work, so instead of just stopping, relaunching my PC and everything, I'm just gonna do what I do best. Say fuck it.
Of FF7 that much. My primary focus is mainly like story and all that, so let's begin. Let's learn something.
Final Fantasy VII is a very interesting speedrun, from where it started over 20 years ago to what it looks like now.
You can actually glitch through these guys and skip, like, I think the entire second Mega Reactor or something. That's amazing to me. That's how much of a noob I am to this scene.
the run is almost
I'm not an expert
unrecognizable.
either.
For example, initially you had to save and quit to skip the Zolom, an overworld monster that chases you. Then it was discovered that by timing your run at the correct time, you could avoid it. And currently, a manipulation is used to catch a chocobo so you can clip through the mountain, so the Zolom isn't even a factor. Clipping through the
How do people figure this out? This is just unbelievable to me. Like, do these guys just like run into every single wall in the game until eventually they pass through one? That's just amazing.
mountain relied on an exploit of how the game stores triangles in memory, and a few years later, after more research, this same trick was being used to walk across water, effectively skipping all of Disc 1 after Midgar.
I didn't know about this one.
Trick was being used to walk across water, effectively skipping all of Disc 1 after Midgar. As time moved on, players pulled the game apart at the...
It's like seeing the FF7 Matrix. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think about this at all when I play it, because I play it for the story, but like this is just mind-blowing to me.
Code level, figuring out how everything worked so they could optimize or break it, and random encounters were one more thing to solve starting in the 2010s. In the 2000s, runners would go...
I have the original in a black box original because... a red box? Yeah, black box original. Because I'm a geek in another level. But yeah, I find it funny, so yeah, that's why I had it.
Through the various dungeons and take whatever encounters the game gave them. But starting with Puexel's world record, detailed step routes were created that had runners avoid problematic random encounters for the first disc of the game, with a full game step route being implemented in 2013. As time went on, the code behind encounters was deciphered and fully understood, resulting in maximally optimized step routes being created. So, I'd like to ask you something. Given that players are so familiar with the game and how it works, how easy do you think it would be to get something past one of them? FF7 has some of the most dedicated mods in all of speedrunning, as they spend hours of their day verifying the runs submitted across all the different categories. And they don't just check the start and end time, they check everything. If you don't believe me, you can watch some of them do it live, as Dash Retro often streams himself doing run verifications, explaining to viewers why certain strats are used and offering the runners critique and feedback on what they can improve on, which brings us to November 2nd. The problem with someone that knows how the game should behave in every situation is that they will notice any deviation from what's expected, even across a 7-hour run. And as Dash was verifying this run, parts of it raised suspicion, but one action in particular had him ask the question, how the heck did that happen? In today's video, we'll go over everything he uncovered, why it's suspicious, and look at the proof that definitively shows something happened when it shouldn't.
How long is this video? 45 minutes. We won't do the 45 minute, but we're gonna do the start, and we're gonna see what happens.
Be possible.
How are these guys' brains wired? Because all I see is a random encounter, but what he sees is proof of cheating. Like, how do you do this, man? You know, in the Terminator, where it shows through his vision, and it's just like you're just like analyzing literally everything. It's like clothes, build, weight, this, and just like all that. I feel like that's how these guys see these games. It's just incredible to me.
On Sunday, November 2nd, Dash Retro was streaming attempts of Final Fantasy VII Any% when unfortunately his run died at Materia Keeper, a boss whose HP you need to manipulate to be 7,777 so that when you poison it, the poison tick will one-shot it with lucky 7s. However, on Dash's attempt, his Materia Keeper fight spiraled out of control.
Even that's amazing to me, that like, on that run, you have to manipulate him down to 777 so that a poison tick will kill him just for speed. Like, I think I got all 7 fever, God, maybe once in my entire lifetime. We're playing as a kid, just purely by accident. I wasn't manipulating it the way, or I wasn't aiming for it the way that these guys were doing.
So, he popped in Tormented Souls 2 for a few hours, then decided to verify an FF7 speedrun that had been submitted to the leaderboard by Tiki Liger live on stream. During the first 10 minutes of the run, he comments on Tiki's step count.
Encounter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's like 7.5 they kind of took, maybe barely 8. So that's fine. It's enough to underwalk the encounter. But what it's gonna do is, if they're using the no long range, or if they're using the long range route, it's gonna make it take forever to force the encounter for the preemptive setup.
And since you probably don't know what a step count is or what he's talking about, let me explain. In Final Fantasy VII, there's a variable called the danger value that goes up every step you take. So putting it on a graph, you see the danger value on the y-axis and the number of steps on the x-axis. There's a further distinction with steps, however, as steps taken while walking generate less danger than steps taken while running, but the main point here is that moving increases your danger value. So you might be wondering, what about the danger value going up triggers an encounter? And that's something called the step ID. This is the code for random encounters on screen, and rather than explain each line, all you really need to know is that eventually it looks at a random table that actually isn't.
I like this shit. Battle. Wait, what? Battle. Table. Selected 0 again 0. Look. Local 8 battle table. This is just a conditional tree, right? There's nothing really. It's special because like some old code from like an old video game, so it's some old artifact, and I find it really cool the fact that I can read it, even if it's on C++, and I'm not a main C++ coder. I'm more like a C# coder, but it's just cool. It's cool to see something like this and being able to see it over the fact, you know, being able
Isn't
to
all that random. In fact, it's hard-coded into the same order each time.
Who the fuck can look at this and understand it? Like, I feel.
This is priceless. I love the timing of this. Me being like, oh, damn, it's just cool that I can read it, and it's like, who the fuck can understand this?
Stupid. I'm the low IQ FF fan who looks at this and doesn't know what's going on. Like,
it's not the low IQ shit. It's just the fact that if you code, you understand what it is. Like, this is a if else is just a statement to see a conditional statement in coding, so it's really simple. After that, you have another condition, and if you get in the condition, you have a condition in the condition, another condition in the condition, and all the stuff, you know. And this is C++, so it's different from like a new coding standard. Like all this stuff that wouldn't look like this right now. It will be different. Like, can I show something? I don't really want to. So next time, yeah. Next time I will show some code. You know what? Fuck it. Anyway, my shit doesn't work, so I do not care. Enough. Oh, did I destruct all my shit? Yeah, the screen is like kind of gray-ish shit. Okay, perfect. Where is it? Okay. So, yeah, this is this. Video game engine. It's gonna take 2 seconds, nothing special. See? Same shit, different. Same shit, but different. I forgot what it does because. Oh shit. Oh shit, I really destroyed my other. Oh, yeah. I feel kind of stupid now. So, it's different, but it's the same, you know? It's just like the if statement, but those if statements are more like precise because I was able to do something. It's not supposed to be this one though. Wow. I destroy my. Oh, wow. Oh, fuck, I will have to start over. Wait, I'm just gonna verify something real fast. No, I can't do shit with this shit. Anyways, same but different. So you, I could have shown other stuff, but you know, some of my code are proprietary. Job
God.
related, so
To be fair, you need a pretty high IQ to understand Final Fantasy VII, so makes sense.
So earlier, when we saw Dash commenting on Tiki's step route and how it would play out, he wasn't speculating, as Tiki is using the same step route that Dash uses in his own runs and has even made tutorials on. So he knew exactly what Tiki had to do in order to stay within the bounds of the step route. To show just how much Dash knows about the step route, here's Tiki's Shinra HQ section. There are two different ways to go up the building, the elevator or the stairs. If you take the elevator, it has to stop at 3 to 6 floors, but with a complex manipulation, you can avoid stopping at floors that give encounters. If you're not doing the manipulation, you'd instead take the stairs, as an unmanipped elevator has the chance to kill your run. However, if you do this, your step route needs to change, and here's Dash explaining this as he verifies the run.
And then taking the battle back here is very good on stairs, because the thing about this fight, this room is not hostile before you get that fight, and it is hostile after you get the fight. And that's why when we come down from the elevator, we run really close to them right here before we initiate the fight. We run underneath the detection box because we want to not use steps. Right.
It should be clear by now
That's
that
amazing.
Dash knows a lot about the step route, and before we continue,
He clearly does, mate, because that thought has never entered my mind until now.
we should talk about the overworld briefly, as it will become relevant later. While overworld encounters can be manipulated, they require some extra setup, like precise camera angles and starting them at specific in-game times. So it's very obvious when they're being used, and the only world map manip Tiki uses is one to catch a chocobo, and not long after, he's back into dungeons. Going into the first Genova fight, everything looks good, as Tiki executes the step route to get a preemptive attack, where the boss is facing away
so
as the battle
it's a noob
starts.
against an expert.
I didn't know you could do that. How the hell do you get a back attack on Genova? I've never seen that ever. Dude, these people are way too smart.
Another important aspect of this run is using Cloud's Braver limit enough times to level it up, and Dash notes that Tiki could have executed one of his turns better in that regard.
So right here, Red just threw a grenade, but Cloud is bravering. So Red's ATB is about to fill. Here's the deal. Her next turn is already queued up. It does not matter when you put in this red grenade. So what you should do is don't put in Red's grenade until Cloud's ATB refills, and then put his in first, so that he stays first in the turn order.
It's honestly quite impressive that no matter how far Tiki deviates from the optimal strategy in a fight, whether from his own error,
These guys are way too smart, man. See, the way that I play this game is I get big guard and I just let that carry me for the entire game. I also use beta and I use trine and aqualung. and in my mind that makes me really smart, but these guys are just playing on the next level, like several levels above. That's just unreal.
Yeah.
or RNG on the game's part, that Dash knows exactly what to do to recover or minimize.
My genius strat is that I know that when you fight
expert.
Safer Sephiroth, one win Angel Sephiroth, he's gonna cast.
You did it so often that you're not even an expert. You're an expert over expert. That's on another level. Even for me, like, especially for me. I'm not at that level yet.
Wall. So you should cast D-Barrier on him to remove that barrier, alright? For me, that's really smart. It's like, that's as far as my tactics go.
Time loss. Going back to the overworld, in the first half of the game, there are a lot of sections where you need to navigate the world map, and Dash notices something that seems completely insane. Tiki isn't manipulating his overworld encounters, and his luck is completely nuts.
This is no world map minute. That is insane luck. Dude, the world map traversals on this run have been crazy.
How the fuck do you do that? How do you run from one side of the world map to the other without getting a single encounter? Well, not one side, but like that's a big distance, man.
I think that's a mod.
I always get an encounter,
Clearly
you know,
it's
at
a
least when I'm
mod.
doing that stuff.
We'll circle
I
back
don't
to
see
the
nothing
world map
else in the
later,
map.
because up next, Tiki takes a fight in the City of the Ancients as he's getting the water ring, and you're supposed to take 18.5 steps after the battle to maintain the step route, which he does. However, he does it in a very surprising way. Let's see if you can catch it before Dash does.
Okay. Tricky to walk behind stuff, but it's good to do.
In this clip, he starts Cloud's walk behind the log when he's not in view, which makes it very hard to count how many steps you're taking since you can't see the animation. It's not impossible to do this if you've spent a lot of time practicing this section or have a good cadence with Cloud's walk animation. But since you can take the walking steps
It just
after running
stands
under the
there.
log, it is strange to do this when Cloud isn't visible. In fact, Dash rewinds this section and does the count to see if he can maintain the cadence for the correct step number. And he gets it wrong twice, which puzzles him at first.
So if you don't do exactly 18.5 steps in this part, you fucked it up.
Yeah, he did.
This is insane.
Before finally counting out 18.5 steps on his third attempt. And not long after, Tiki takes another surprising action when it comes to the step route. After getting the water ring, Tiki takes another encounter almost immediately after loading the next map, but it's not this encounter that has Dash surprised, it's Tiki's movement after the battle. On this screen, you need to take 18 steps. However, when the battle is over, you have control of Cloud as the screen fades in, and for a small period of time, you can't see what's going on. Tiki starts moving as soon as he has control of Cloud, which is called buffered movement and isn't commonly used here, as even high-level players will run out of the encounter until Cloud is visible, then take the walking steps. So it seems a bit out of place for a runner that's 40 minutes off world record to be using buffered movement, and Dash even has trouble counting the number of steps Tiki takes himself.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then I wonder if it starts differently though, because I think 17.5 might be fine here.
At first, he notices that Tiki only took 17.5 steps, so he recounts.
This is a level of autism that I will never achieve. And I don't mean that as an insult or as a derogatory statement, because I am extremely autistic about the story, the character, the writing, you know, all like the artistry, the music, and all that stuff, that element, that side of the game. I don't think about this side of it at all.
Yeah.
Like, I never consider any of this, because I'm not playing it for that reason. It's phenomenal to me that these guys can look at this. They can look at Cloud walking out of a battle versus him running and being like, that's interesting. Why is he walking, not running? Or why is he moving at all? Why is he choosing that type of stepping versus this other type of movement? That's just mind-blowing to me. That's amazing. And I actually mean that with respect. I mean, these guys are known for a reason.
At first, he notices that Tiki only took 17.5 steps, so he recounts them because he's not sure how many steps were taken while the screen faded in. But then he sees that after completing the walk, Tiki does another small walk after running for a bit. This is very surprising to Dash, since a runner this far from world record not only is buffering movement out of a fight, but they're also able to recognize that they stopped walking half a step too early and corrected the mistake just a second later.
From someone with a 726, it's very surprising to see them catch an underwalk. First of all, to buffer movement out of a fight, then realize that they underwalked and make up for it.
Recognizing that you underwalked on steps is really impressive for a runner that isn't in record contention, and the next thing I want to highlight is the fight with Genova after Aerith dies, because Dash notices something done suboptimally.
We've thrown a grenade on Tifa. Both of their ATBs are gonna fill. So we're bleeding time right now, because right here you're supposed to immediately go into Tifa's menu to hold time. But we see that doesn't happen. They're waiting for the animation to be over to put in the death blow, which is why now we get this much ATB bleed as well.
In Final Fantasy VII, there's something known as weight tricking, whereby setting the menu option for the ATB bar to weight, the party's and enemies' ATB bars won't go up while you're in a menu. This means that while long animations play out, you can open a menu to stop the enemy from gaining ATB and taking actions against you, and Dash notices that
Wait, you can do this? hang on. I didn't know about this.
While
Wait,
you're
hang
in a
on.
menu. This means that while long animations play out, you can open a menu to stop the enemy from gaining ATB and taking actions against you. And
You cheeky bastards. How the fuck did you guys figure this out?
That's fancy.
GoldenEye, you say that's S-tier autism? That actually is S-tier autism, right? They almost made it turn-based, you know, instead of just ATB. This is amazing to me. This is like just a whole different side of Final Fantasy VII that I didn't really know about. Like, I knew people were always doing crazy shit like this. Like, I think I was watching Caleb Hart's speedrun, and he did something where, like, he skipped Cosmo Canyon, I think.
I love watching speedruns, like another way of bypassing playing video games. Just very good.
He was in the car, and normally the car breaks down, I think, but he kind of just like kept starting and stopping it in a way, and then he just kept driving, and it never broke down, and he skipped the whole area. I was like, how the fuck did you do that? I will never do this. I'll never learn this. It's just not me. But I find it fascinating to watch other people do this. This is why you love speedrunning, Peanut, because you never figured this stuff out casually when you're just finding new shit. Yeah, exactly. You kind of have to intentionally seek this out. You have to sit down and kind of think about how the game's built and if you can break it or if you can push the boundaries of what it can do. Do things that the devs didn't expect you to do.
Yeah,
Do you
so
think
see,
that the devs, when they made this game, do you think Squaresoft
Fire.
imagined that anyone would do anything like this? Because I don't think they did. I think they thought, oh yeah, you know, people will like this. They'll have a fun go of it. I didn't think they'd expect that, like, decades later, people would be like counting the number of steps and checking whether other people took 18 steps or 18 and a half. And if they went outside of that, then they were clearly cheating at trying to speedrun this. You know what I mean? It's crazy what came out of this game. And it's not exclusive to FF7, but it's the one I know.
Dash notices that Tiki misses a chance to do this.
During this animation, this is when you exit, switch to Deathblow, put it through, go into Cloud's menu. You do all of that right now, because this is when the animation is holding time.
It's a bit odd for someone this far off the record to be exceptional at the step route and then miss small actions like this that are potentially run-ending. But it's entirely possible Tiki spent time practicing the step route at the expense of learning the optimal route through boss fights. Let's keep going through the run to find out. Dash notes that Tiki is behind on steps, and this is a key concept when it comes to a step route, so let me explain what it means. Let's say the optimal step route has you move from point A to point B in 100 steps, with an encounter occurring on point B, but during your run, you deviate from the route by a few steps. The encounter is still going to happen in the same number of steps, but now it's going to occur on point B2. So being behind on steps just means you've been sloppy with movement and will get the forced encounters earlier. You might be thinking that if you end up taking extra running steps, you can mitigate it by walking, since those generate less danger. However, this isn't the case, as walking and running steps both put you closer to an encounter. So taking extra walking steps would just put you further behind and make the encounter happen even sooner. Looking on this screen, he notes that Tiki has taken some steps he didn't need to, like on this chest where he runs one step to open it when you don't need to take any steps at all, as Cloud is in position to open it after jumping, and with the extra steps taken, Dash theorizes that the next encounter will take place before he leaves the screen.
So I would be surprised if this battle doesn't happen in this screen. It might be close, but yeah. There you go, as expected.
Just
this
the
is
very
really rough for steps.
That's the difference between an expert and a casual. That's really the difference between me and everyone else. Like, I'm just watching this shit and I understand his brain just calculating the stuff. Like me, when I see some code in front of me, it's just interesting.
We're getting towards the territory of steps being dead.
Tiki is so far behind on the step count that Dash says he's in the territory of the step route being dead, and what happens next really puzzles him.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and a half. 9 and a half. I feel like you have to do more steps than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and a half. Am I crazy, or do you have to do more steps than that if you're that far back?
We'll circle back to why the steps are important in
That's
this room
amazing.
in a bit, because right after this, Tiki
See, all I saw was Cloud running across the screen. But what he saw was an unsolved mystery. What he saw was the red flag of the century. But it's just amazing the way this guy, these people see this game is just incredible.
Tiki has another single encounter segment on the overworld.
I swear, if this is a one, you have to manip for a one encounter traversal. I feel like this is getting weird.
Dash's suspicions were on full alert, and after going through Tiki's world map encounters, he sees a picture that statistically is very unlikely to happen, as 4 different sections of long overworld navigation only get a single encounter.
The ones in here that are kind of crazy to see in one run. The ones to see in a single run are these 4. These are in the middle, kind of lucky. This is expected. This is expected. These 2 are in the middle. The 4 with the stars are kind of crazy.
Despite this, he continues verifying the run, and funnily enough, a viewer says that he sounds suspicious, and their timing couldn't have been better, because what happens next completely blows Dash's mind.
I almost sound suspicious. It might come off that way. The world map stuff is nutty. Like, there's a reason we do manips, you know? This is crazy.
How? I mean, I know I keep making this joke, but like, I just see Cloud getting into an encounter. For him, he solved the mystery. For him, this has destroyed the entire run.
I don't know what you do.
It's the ultimate proof of cheating. It's just amazing. I don't know anything about this. I'm never going to be one of these guys, but I love watching their process. I love watching their thinking. I love watching how they analyze all this stuff and how they see things that I can't see. That's fascinating to me.
Call me suspicious of this.
Analyzing the movement, he thinks that the steps Tiki took shouldn't have resulted in getting an encounter where he did. So, he opens up his own copy of Final Fantasy VII and tries to recreate what he saw. He recreates the step ID Tiki was using and gets the same encounter just before entering the cave, then takes the same 9.5 steps in the cave that Tiki did before going to Icicle Inn and doing the snowboarding segment. It's worth mentioning that when you're not in a dungeon, your danger level is saved and won't increase until you enter a dungeon again, which means the overworld, snowboard minigame, and town maps don't affect the step count. After getting to the Great Glacier and entering the dungeon map, Dash recreates Tiki's movement, and what he's expecting to happen is for a fight to occur on the first 4 screens. And lo and behold, he gets one on the 3rd screen, well before Tiki had his.
Are we actually doing fine? No, there's a fight right there.
Not wanting to jump to conclusions, he says that he might have been slightly off on the step count, so to verify his hypothesis, he opens up Big Shoes. Big Shoes is a tool created by a Sepher that visualizes your step count and shows you when encounters are coming up. The green line shows what will happen if you walk from your current position, with the blue line showing the same for running steps. And if a line goes under an encounter's danger value, you'll avoid it. So as long as you're under the danger value of the encounter when you arrive to it based on your step ID, you won't get the fight. Ace created this to help with routing in the 100% category, but it also has applications with finding better step routes and as a visual indicator for practicing step routes. But in this case, Dash was going to use it to verify Tiki's step route and why the encounter came later. You might be wondering how we know that Big Shoes is accurate, and that's because it reads values directly from the game's memory. So, as long as it's set up correctly, it's hooked right into the game as it runs. However, Ace did tell me there was one case where Big Shoes doesn't get things correct, and that's in the Shinra Tower, where the map starts off with one danger value, then increases it after Genova breaks out. So, it's not entirely accurate for that room after Genova escapes. But Ace checked the rest of the game, and that room is the only one that uses different danger values at different times, and the rooms we're concerned with in the Great Glacier don't change their danger value. And to help understand why Dash got suspicious, it's time to explain what's going on in this room. This cave has a higher danger level than the rooms before and after it, so what you ideally want to have happen is for an encounter to take place as far into it as possible, as your danger value resets to 0 after the fight. This way, you spend as little time as possible increasing your danger value in the high danger room after the encounter. But if you're behind on steps, you'll get the fight earlier in the room. And fortunately, there are different step routes you can take depending on where in the room you get the fight, so that you can correct the step route and avoid encounters on the screens coming up.
Oh my
However, in
God.
Tiki's run, he's so far behind on the step route that the encounter that should take place in the cave happens just before he enters it, then only takes 9.5 steps once inside, so his next encounter should be a lot earlier than when he gets it. And when Dash used Big Shoes to recreate Tiki's movement, he got an encounter where he expected it to occur, not where Tiki got his. So, what does this mean? Well, if the game behaved as it was expected to, which is what happened during Dash's recreation, there would have been an encounter on this screen near the end of it. And if you get that encounter, it pushes the encounter Tiki got further into the step route, as the danger value would have reset. This puzzled Dash, so he looked through the Great Glacier section in Tiki's run to see if he missed counting some steps, only to find that everything lined up with what he initially thought. He then goes back to the high danger room and experiments by taking different step counts in case he miscounted. But no matter what he did, he couldn't avoid the encounter on this screen that mysteriously wasn't present in Tiki's run. It didn't matter if he took 9 steps, 9.5, or even 10 steps, he still got an encounter that Tiki somehow avoided. On further investigation, Dash wanted to know how many steps it would take in the high danger room given Tiki's step route to avoid the encounter, with 12.5 being the number needed. And since Tiki took 9.5, or 10 if you're being generous, there were 2.5 to 3 steps he needed to take that aren't observed in the run. This got Dash curious about the overworld sections Tiki had exceptional luck on, and looking back, it was quickly determined Tiki wasn't using overworld manipulation strategies. At this point, Dash says that he can't verify the run and goes into what he thinks is going on.
So, if we get into, okay, if I think that this run has foul play, what do I think it is? Not splicing. I don't think so. I think that what we're seeing could very easily be cheat engine. I could see
I like how I
roadmap
was
fractions getting
right.
frozen. Danger getting
I like how I'm being even right. Because things like the reason why I didn't think splicing just because like splicing asked that you be really precise with the editing and everything, but just using like a model or cheat engine, it's easier knowing that the code kind of
notched down a couple hundred. I could see like runner is able to see the step graph, and so when it updates, they know that they need to notch their danger down a little bit in order to not get a certain fight.
I think in the world of nerdery, right, like we can't see people's brains and stuff, but let's say like you and me, the average, we think we're pretty good at games, all right? We just look like some, at best, natty bodybuilder or some CrossFit guys. These guys in the world of nerdery, their brains are like Ronnie Coleman. They're like Jay Cutler. They're like Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're just like the most jacked Giga Chad Expedition 60 barky looking characters you've ever seen, but you can't see that because it's their brain. That's kind of like what I think these guys
it's a muscle
are like.
People really forget sometimes that the brain is just a muscle that has a higher heel of pattern recognition, right? Like, literally, the only thing that it did is just seeing some pattern who didn't match. That's it. That's also the same reason why neural network are as popular as they are. Like, literally, just pattern recognition.
You, me, and everyone in chat and everyone watching this video, we might think we're, bit of nerds and stuff, We've gamed a bit now and again. We might think we're, we've got somewhat of a highish IQ. We are nothing compared to these guys, all right? We're like
I'm gonna stop here just
compared to
tired.
Majin Buu on the screen right now.
After streaming for 9 hours, it was getting late, so Dash called it a night and downloaded the VOD, promising to pick up his investigation the next day. And what do you think happened between then and his next stream?
Between me ending my stream and me starting my stream today, the run has been deleted off of the FF7 leaderboard submission.
Case closed! Kaboom! Bombshell!
It is not here anymore.
Not only did Tiki delete the run submission he made to the leaderboard, he also deleted the run from YouTube.
We look up the user, we find their YouTube channel, and go to their YouTube channel. The video itself is also deleted.
Why the submission and video were deleted, we don't know, but
I think we all know. My God, so caught. Holy shit. He just deleted everything. He's like, fuck, man. Caught. Just destroy all the evidence.
Itself is also deleted.
why the submission and video were deleted, we don't know, but it is strange that they were removed after Dash became publicly suspicious on stream. And he spends the first hour of this stream recapping what happened yesterday, mainly that Tiki likely had Big Shoes open so he could see his step count, and then edited his danger value in RAM to avoid an encounter without having to take more walking steps. Let's say you're skeptical, however, and think Dash may have missed counting some steps. Well, if you did take the 12.5 steps required to avoid the battle, the next encounter would take place even sooner, as your step count would be higher from the extra steps. Here's Dash once again.
If you were to take 12.5 steps, which is the amount that you need to take in order to avoid that encounter, it doesn't just mean that what we see in the video would even occur. It means that we're underwalking this battle all the way back here instead of up here. And it means that the battle that we do get, are you guys ready for this? It means the battle that you do get, that we're supposed to get, happened on this screen. Because now we're so far behind from taking 12.5 steps.
If someone were speedrunning the game with Big Shoes open, they could see when their encounters were coming and what steps they'd have to take to avoid them. And the behavior we saw in Tiki's run would make sense as explained by Dash.
They saw, oh, I underwalked that encounter, pop up to my RAM editor, take 200 danger off real quick. Just pop 200 danger off real quick. And then there you go, now we don't hit that encounter. And so then that is what produces no battle here and a battle here.
It's just a shame, like, just don't cheat, man. Yeah, I know there's that copy paste, you only cheated yourself.
I love how people say don't cheat or stuff. Like, I agree, but at the same time, sometimes you just really, really want to win. Like, you're so low that you just need a win. I'm not justifying it, I'm just explaining that sometimes you're just in that type of vibe.
But it's true. It's just true. Like, what's even the point, man? You're gonna get caught. Everyone gets caught. It's the internet. It leaves a billion receipts, and you're under the
Yo, internet sleuths are the best detective ever. It's on another level, seriously. Like,
scrutiny of you're under the scrutiny of Super Saiyan autists, all right? You like, not just your average autist,
Super Saiyan
but like
autist.
Super Saiyan God, fusion level autism. It just, you can't fool these people, man. You just can't. It feels like everything the internet decided to put under the microscope, it kind of discovered or found out or revealed. There's tons of people who speedrun this game for a living. They know from a lot of experience what is and is not possible in this game. And if you do something that they know cannot happen because they've done this like hundreds of times, thousands of times, you're just not gonna fool them, you know. Torsten, is the...
You see, there's a saying that says the difference between a master and a student is that the master failed more time than the student has tried. And you can see it there. And the same use it in real life too, right? Try. If you fail, at least you fail, but you learn. Better to fail and learn than not doing nothing.
The same thing as stolen valor. Exactly. Cheating at a speedrun is basically stolen valor. In general, in life, you shouldn't lie, unless it's like really important, like a job interview. Like, by all means, you know, maybe for that. I don't know, you gotta help a friend bury a body or something, but for the most part, just tell the truth. It's the easiest thing to remember. I love FF7's, sorry, the real FF7's story so much that I would never speed through it. I want to experience it fully each time. It would be like me sitting down and fast forwarding Lord of the Rings from start to finish. Just watching the whole thing in like 15 speed. Like, why would I ever do this? You love FF7 as a fine wine, not as an energy drink, Mia Foxy. Something like that. Long-form game speedruns are great, but there can be wild RNG coin flips that destroy runs. Yeah, well, it's interesting. There's like different speedruns. There's some where you use skips, right? And you just like, you skip Cosmo Canyon, skip Cloud's flashback, and so on and so forth. Otherwise, there are ones where... See, I don't know any of that. There are speedruns where I want to see how would you speedrun it if you didn't skip or break the game. Like, you actually just played it the way it's meant to be played from start to finish. That's a whole different category in a way.
What he's saying makes perfect sense. If someone was looking at Big Shoes, they'd see the next encounter coming up while they were in the high danger room and walk accordingly. But what they really should have been concerned with was the encounter after that one, since it requires additional steps to avoid. Since Tiki was now going to get this encounter, but it didn't happen, and he didn't take extra steps to make sure it didn't happen, what he likely did was lower his danger value in RAM, thus avoiding the encounter. Looking back at the other sections in the step route Dash was surprised about, they now made perfect sense. Since if Tiki had Big Shoes open, he wouldn't have to see how many steps he was taking behind the log, it would just tell him. The same thing applies to the fight he buffered walking steps out of as well. When Cloud is moving before the fade-in, you wouldn't need to guess or even have a good rhythm for counting steps, since Big Shoes is just showing you how many you need to take. And if you stopped walking early, you'd immediately know and could correct on the fly. Dash admits that without visual evidence, it's not possible to prove that Tiki was using Big Shoes, but since there's definitive proof that the game should generate an encounter on this screen, and in Tiki's run it didn't, it is definitive that something is going on here that shouldn't be.
Jesus, so just like, yeah, manipulating the game parameters, messing with its RAM, that's just nuts. Wild how much people can't get away with. You just can't. like how are you gonna cheat? How are you gonna fool like people who do this for a living? And not even just for a living, they do it for a passion. Like you don't even need to pay them to do it. They do it for free. It's their obsession, man. How do you fool? You can't fool these people. Yeah, you may as well just get good. You may as well just do it the normal way.
Yeah.
You may all the effort you put into cheating, you may as well just like put it. The thing is, right, let me put it this way. If you get caught cheating once, your reputation is nuked, if not tarnished, for the rest of your life. Whereas if you tried to do it the honest way, but failed, even more than a few times, or like, you know, didn't do it perfectly, didn't always succeed, people forgive that. People respect that. Because how else are you gonna do it? You know, you have to make mistakes in order to learn. The master has made more mistakes than the amateur has made attempts. Something like...
Hey, you see how good I am? It's just that most of the saying, I know them and I use them in real life. Because I'm mostly afraid of failing. But the joke is that by failing, each day you get better at failing. You fell hard, you fell fast, but you learn to stand up faster too. And that's the thing that I think make the difference too. I like just how I said, I think the same thing as he's saying just a little bit earlier.
Like that. You gotta do it wrong in every conceivable way, because then you know all the ways not to do it. And then you start doing it right. You start doing it better. And it's the only respectable thing to do at the end of the day. If you cheat, your foundation is just built on a house of cards. It can just be blown over and with minimal effort. But if your foundation is built on honesty and real hard work, people can't push it over. Not nearly as easily, man. They can't. You can resist criticism, or you can survive criticism. You can survive people being assholes to you. It can overcome difficulty and obstacles. As Miss Frizzle says on the Magic School Bus, take chances, make mistakes, and get messy. Yeah, she was an absolute MILF.
To show how easy it would be to edit RAM values and manip encounters, Dash fires up the Duck Station emulator, goes to an overworld section, takes an encounter, then checks a box that freezes the RAM value responsible for generating world map encounters, all while navigating with his left hand, something very easily done while running the game.
Wow.
And once you're finished that section, you just unfreeze the RAM value so nothing else in the game gets messed up. This would explain Tiki's insane overworld sections, unless he was just incredibly lucky. So, Dash went through the effort of recreating Tiki's overworld from Midgar to the Chocobo Ranch by replicating his movement at the in-game times Tiki would have started that section on. And to his surprise, everything checked out.
Wow.
That's actually
So that one's legit.
That's actually amazing that there was actually no cheats used to just like do that overworld thing. That's crazy.
Very interesting.
Checking all of the overworld sections wouldn't be possible, since you need the in-game time when the world map is initialized. So, Dash started looking at spots further in the run, but before he got very far, someone in the chat had some news.
Oh, wait a second. You're telling me there's an update. If we were to go to the FF7 leaderboard, and we were to go to No Major Skips, and find their run... Oh!
Not only did Tiki Liger remove his videos, he also left the Final Fantasy VII Discord and many other speedrun-related Discords. He's also a moderator for some games on speedrun.com and holds world records in other games, but even those videos were pulled during Dash's stream. I tried to reach out to Tiki Liger and ask about his Final Fantasy VII run, but he never returned my messages. And the videos he set to private didn't stay private for long, as Tiki completely removed them and deleted his YouTube channel later during Dash's stream.
Wow, completely nuked. Completely wrecked. Complete just scorched earth. In all caps, delete fucking everything. There's something magical about the game Final Fantasy VII. The original one, the real one. This didn't happen with any of his speedruns with literally any other game. It happened on FF7. The OG FF7 is so legendary. It's almost like a cursed artifact, or it's like a blessing or a curse depending on who plays it. This game sends a percentage of the people who play it completely insane, where all they do is then they live on Twitter and the rest of the internet tweeting about whether Cloud is banging Eris or Tifa several times a day for the rest of their life. When in truth we all know that Cloud is a furry, and it was proven in FF7 Rebirth when he has a date with him. He touches Red 13's paws and he says, "They are soft," and Red goes, "Huh?" He's like, "Nothing." And then Cloud looks away, rather steamy and with a hidden blush in his face.
No.
Yeah, so they're both wrong. Cloud's obviously banging the dog. They just want to see more FF7
Good.
no matter what. No matter how low quality, no matter how fan fiction-y, no matter how poorly written, no matter how sloppy it is, just as long as we get more Tifa, Eris, Zack, whatsoever. So they end up reading books like The Kids Aren't All Right, The Story of Leslie and Kyrie. This game is like the ring from Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? It makes you go crazy. It makes you obsess over it for the rest of your life.
Anyways, it was fun. I always love seeing geek shit like that. But by the way, don't care about this stuff. Usually there's a lot more.
Surtout à 2h du matin.
I need a manual mute button. Anyways, is there something interesting that I can put on before? I'm just curious. Why not?
Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got videos today from Poor Man's Podcast.
Gillette lost $9 billion trying to fix men. Yeah, I remember they made an ad a few years ago, but
The man Gamble announced an $8 billion write-down on the Gillette brand.
Nah. You know what? We're gonna stop here. And yeah, I'm a little bit tired. I'm starting to speak, to speak and stuff. So I'm gonna stop here, and maybe we're gonna see each other like tomorrow or some shit. On that note, be a little bit evil and stay passionate.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a photo of us?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody say cheese.
Oh, actually, I'm a vegan. Could you please have us say something else?
Okay, everybody say tofu.
Tofu is actually not as good for you as vegans think. Any CrossFitter will tell you that. It's bad for your testosterone levels.
Okay, I'm sorry.